Right now, they have a line like there's no hope for the youth. So they are just trying to survive here in the country right now because most of them have completed school, and this perception that when you're done with school, the government has to give you a job and all that. So most of them are waiting for jobs. Some of them put in the effort doing their national service so that they can be retained and all that. But most of them, it didn't work for them. So now they are home. All they do is to eat, sleep, and be on social media. They have something called agenda. So they just be on social media and just watch
What's
TV.
agenda?
Hello, welcome to the Great Return Podcast, a podcast focusing on wealth creation and African development for and by people of African heritage, both at home and abroad. Today, we are discussing, is the youth the key to African development? And to do that, we have with us Godwin Edu Boahene,
Yeah,
aka Shark Boy.
the fresh boy.
The fresh boy. Yes, so we have him helping us with our discussions today. And I've also pulled along AJ, CEO of TGR Africa, to support with the conversation. So welcome, Shark
Thank you
Boy.
very much. I'm very happy to be here.
We are happy, very happy to have you. So we have decided to call on Shark Boy because his content creation is more with the youth. So he is really in it with the youth. So he feels their pulse, he knows what's going on. He's in the inner circle, I would say, of the youth. So we've decided to have him today talk about this. So before we start, I'd like you to introduce yourself briefly and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Godwin Edubuahin. I'm a content creator, specifically on YouTube. That's the platform I really love. Yeah, so I started my education in Cosmos Basic School, Alapas. Went to St. Augustine's College.
Okay.
That's high school. That's the best high school in Ghana.
Is it?
Yeah.
We'll leave that for another day.
Yeah, for the
We'll get you on
viewers.
for another discussion.
Yeah, and I finished it off at University of Ghana. Yeah, so I did business,
Okay.
marketing to be
Okay.
specific. So I completed in 2019.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
now I do social media. Yeah.
Media. Yeah. So we will sort of delve in by first looking at how the African youth feel about their economic prospects and their opportunities on the continent. So how do you feel the African youth generally and specifically in Ghana, how do they feel about their economic opportunities and prospects at home? And then we'll then look at how they feel with the same about them going abroad.
Okay. So at home, I feel like they've given up. Yeah, there's no hope
Very
for
strong.
Yeah, right now they have a line like there's no hope for the youth.
Right.
So they are just trying to survive here in the country right now because most of them have completed school, and this perception that when you're done with school, the government has to give you a job and all that. So most of them are waiting for jobs. Some of them put in the effort doing their national service so that they can be retained and all that. But most of them, it didn't work for them. So now they are home. All they do is to eat, sleep, and be on social media. They have something called agenda. So they just be on social media and just watch
What's
vid-
agenda?
It's like this what is trending. So let's go and contribute. So they just come on social media.
Okay.
Some of them even bash the celebrities and all that just to be happy because they are not doing
Okay.
anything at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the youth in Ghana have given up because the opportunities they think their qualifications and the school they went to and all that, the courses they did can get them, they are not getting them. And when you ask them, they tell you that you have to know someone, or that person in that position has to know you, or you have to be connected to that person and all that.
Yeah.
So, and since most of them don't have connections in these big companies and all that, all they have to do is to stay at home. So they've given up and trying to see what they can do for themselves. But as for now, they totally give up.
Okay. So in terms of them feeling like that, I'd like us to explore why we think they've gotten to that stage of completely giving up on the continent and thinking their only way forward is either to get like a government job, which from what you're saying is next to non-existent.
Yeah.
So their next opportunity will be if they can go abroad.
Yeah.
So I'd like us to look at why the youth have gotten to that stage. And I think to do that would have to fuse with the educational system,
Yeah.
because I think part of the reason would be in all of that. And then we can come back to look at maybe somebody like yourself, how you've managed to get where you are going, like where you are now, and moving forward, and what the youth
Yeah.
could, how they could look at that and see what they can do for
Okay.
themselves. So in terms of the educational system, every country's youth is sort of should be their visionaries, innovators, and pioneers of things. So how we raise our youth, do you feel both the educational system and generally how we raise our youth, we are making them ready to lead and to lead when it comes to development at all?
Okay, so with the educational system, they are doing their best with the educational system to give the youth the knowledge they have to
Mm-hmm.
have in the various fields of work they want to be in. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the weakness of the educational system is there are a lot, but I'll talk about a few. So one is they don't they don't let the students or the youth put whatever they are learning into practice.
Right.
You go to some of the big schools in Ghana here, they claim they are teaching engineering, but
Mm-hmm.
all they do is theory. Teach
Right.
them the theory in class,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't really have the facilities towards teach them the actual engineering on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So students tend to even go outside to go and further their education in engineering because their country can't provide the necessary resources and all that. So the schools don't have the resources and the facilities to make whatever the students are learning be more practical.
Mm-hmm.
That is one reason why the youth don't really look ready to take over from the elderly ones. And another reason is the youth. I think entrepreneurship
Mm-hmm.
is something that has to start from scratch, maybe from high school or GHS.
Mm-hmm.
I always say this that it has to be something that's like a compulsory course in our schools. Because if you look around us, everything is entrepreneurship. Even if you're a doctor,
Hmm.
the private hospital you are working in is someone's business.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have the entrepreneurial skills and you are done with school, okay, you are waiting for the government to give you a 9 to 5 job and all that, and you are not getting, what can you start on your own? Some people actually want to start something on their own, but they don't even know how to go about it. They don't even have knowledge in entrepreneurship. How do I employ people? How do I recruit people? How do I run the business? How do I manage the finance of the business? They lack their accounting skills, their marketing skills,
Mm-hmm.
their economic skills in running a business.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody in this world has to have an entrepreneurial skills in
Mm-hmm.
them. So if we are in a country where entrepreneurship is only for those who are doing business courses, what about the science people? What about those in other fields of work?
Yeah.
When they are done with school and they are not getting the job and they want to start something, they have zero knowledge on it.
Yeah.
And that's not fine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the government or whoever, let's say the educational system, GES, Ghana Education Service, or
Mm-hmm.
whoever is in charge of the courses we do in our schools, I feel like they should come up with a situation where entrepreneurship can be made compulsory, or even if it's not compulsory, at some level of your education,
You
you'll be
should.
made to learn entrepreneurship as
Mm-hmm.
a compulsory course for the semester
Mm-hmm.
or something.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like there are a lot of opportunities online now,
Mm-hmm.
and students are not really in the country we live in. Most of the elderly people and all that are making social media. They see the negative side of social media and not
Yeah.
the positive side.
Mm-hmm.
So if a traditional African parent will be like, and now you've gone to school instead of you to Focus on what the teachers told you. Every day you're on the phone, social media, social media, social media. When they hear social media, they think it's all about
It's
negative
bad.
or bad things.
Yeah.
But right now, the world is going digital. And if you're young, let's say your child, let's say 9 years, 10 years, 12 years, it's on social media and doing something digitally and all that, you should know that there's like a lot of opportunities there. So I think our educational system too should provide or should look at it in a way that digital marketing or
Elements.
anything online, people can have knowledge in online things.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when you start your entrepreneurship or you start your business, some people have shops they work in.
Yeah.
Some to do that's the brick and mortar, that's
Mortar.
the shop.
Yes.
And we
Okay.
have the brick and clicks, that's the online. Some people do
Okay.
it basically online. And what online knowledge do you have?
Yeah.
So I think we implementing online knowledge in our schools too can help the youth like level up so that
Yes.
when they are done with school and the normal way they want it, that's getting jobs from the government, they are not getting it. They can look at the entrepreneurship side, the digital side, or any other way they can also use to better
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just going to add about what you said about entrepreneurship. And me personally, I think the educational system is really, really failing the youth. And the reason why I feel that way is because we live in a developing country. Now, a developing country compared to a developed country, what's the main difference is that if you go to the UK, it has a well established and a robust dynamic economy. So there's lots of different jobs. You can step into this, that, and a third. That's the opportunity a developed economy provides you. But a developing economy, it's not a dynamic economy yet. It needs that progression pathway. So what the educational system is really meant to be framed around is actually entrepreneurship, because we're a developing country because we have lots of problems. And the purpose of business is to solve problems.
Yeah.
So we need to be raising youth who are going to be those innovators, those visionaries, those pioneers, because that's the point. We don't have the answers. They could have the answers if they are trained and developed in the right way. And without that kind of thinking, I really do feel, because I can imagine if I grew up here too, and all I kept being told is go to school and then get a job, and I'm programmed that way, that's
Yeah.
just what I'm going to follow,
Yeah.
you see. But it's not even a logical thing. And I know Ghana has recently started a free education,
Yeah.
all that, but it doesn't make any sense, because if you look at our educational system, where it's coming from, we've literally gone to the West and gone, okay, what was the educational system? Great, blueprint it. But no one has asked themselves, why did the West create the educational system the way it did? And when did they even decide to do that? Because the West did not invest in free education until they were at a stage of their economic development when there was the demand for skilled labor far exceeded the supply they had. So
Okay.
they established public schooling because they literally needed people.
Okay.
So if you go back 60 years, something like 60, 80 years, it was a general thing like if you go all the way to university, you pretty much guaranteed a middle class
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
Even in the West, that's changed. There's people who've gone to Oxford, Cambridge,
Yeah.
and they're, like you're saying, they're working in, I'll use a place like McDonald's, for example. And the West was in a position where they needed to train a labor force to think like employees. So
Okay.
the interesting thing about, for example, the school system is it's very close to the Prussian military system. That's actually where it came from, because they wanted to produce people that can follow orders, listen to commands, and all those kinds of things. And especially in Ghana, our educational system is even worse than the Western one, because it was specifically designed to prepare people to work in the colonial administration.
Okay.
That was it. So our educational system has never been about empowering the youth
Yeah.
at all. And yet we have just so quickly gone, oh, this is what they do in the West, let's mimic it. We're not developed. We don't have a surplus of job opportunities where we need to fill the labor market. We're not there yet. What we really need to, our whole educational system should be based on what are the type of mindset, skill sets, and overall competencies that our young people need
Yeah.
to be able to be the types of people who can solve problems and create jobs. But
Exactly.
investing in free education, all you've done is, that's what we're seeing. Exactly what you've said is there's a surplus of labor, but there's no need for them because we don't need people with jobs. We need people to create jobs.
Create jobs.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I just thought, yeah, I really agree with you that
Yeah.
entrepreneurship should be the focus of the educational system because that is actually what the society needs.
Yeah. I think leadership too has to be taken
Mm-hmm.
into
Mm-hmm.
account because
Mm-hmm.
you can start your entrepreneurship journey and all that, but most of the youth also lack leadership skills, how to manage people
Yes,
and
then
all that. So I think that part should
yeah.
really be considered, putting them on public speaking platforms, introducing more of what do we call it, presentations and
Mm-hmm.
all that, so
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
can feel confidence, because
Yeah.
most of the youth, they know the thing but they lack confidence.
Yes.
And we are in a system where in companies or wherever you work with, they feel like the person who is grown can't take advice. Let's say a young person in the company wants to, oh boss, we can do it this way. They
They
just
can't
brush
say
the young person
yes.
off. So it
Yes.
kills the confidence or the self-esteem of that young person in that company. And
Yeah.
I've experienced that a lot. Sometimes
Okay.
you go to meetings and all that, and let's say what the person is saying, we can do it that way, or we can do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
But because the person is older than you and all that, when you suggest it, they feel like, oh, you're
You're
just a
not.
small boy,
Yeah.
you don't know anything.
Yeah.
But maybe what the person is saying can really, really help your company.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a company here in Ghana, I'll mention their name, but I've realized that most of the people running the company in different branches and all that are the young people.
Mm.
It's a restaurant, like it's an eatery. They sell
Yes.
food and all that.
Yeah.
Their social media, their waitresses, their money. Well, sometimes when you go there to one branch, I once went to a Spintex branch and I was like, oh, I want to see the manager. A young guy
Mm-hmm.
who is done with university, very young, maybe in his 20s, 26, 25 or something. He's
Yeah.
the manager of the whole. So I'm like,
Establishment.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say there can be another company where their culture will not allow, why are you putting this university boy in charge of this whole branch and all that?
Yeah.
I feel like we have to empower the youth
Mm-hmm.
because we live in a country where we've made the youth so small in the eyes of people that they don't believe in the youth. Sometimes you tell your parents or the people you live with that, Charlie, I've seen this opportunity. I want to
Mm.
enter into this business. And I see a problem there I want to solve. The next thing you hear is, oh, yeah, just take it, relax. Else you just go and squander your money and waste the money. No. If we
Yeah.
don't take risk, how will we succeed? So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the youth are not empowered enough to take risk, be
Yes.
leaders and all that. That's one
Mm-hmm.
of the reasons why they've even given up.
Yeah.
Because nobody believes in them in
Then.
this country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a
So.
theory about it.
Okay.
Because I've been looking a lot into like civilizations, how
Yeah.
they're constructed, all that kind of thing. And one of the reasons why that will be the case is in the past, our traditional African culture, we revere the past more than the future.
Okay.
Um, which basically means the present generation admires the past and it wants to uphold it. So in these types of societies, older people have to be almost revered because they genuinely know their culture the most. You see, so a young person has to totally submit because in that type of in our traditional African culture, but it's similar in other developing parts, is that this concept of progress and the future, we don't really realize it, but it's a very new concept. Most of human history, no one was thinking about the future.
Yeah.
It's really the West that through capitalism and modern economics has really it's the first time really as as a global society, all that kind of thing, that we have all decided that the future will be better than today.
Yeah.
Because the basis of GDP growth investment is we're saying that the future will be better than today. But
Yeah.
we come from a culture that is more saying the past was better, and the past is to be revered. Now the problem is we're living in a modern economy.
Mhm.
And like I was saying to you the other day, I really don't feel like Africa is that westernized. When I
Mhm.
was abroad and I was looking, I thought, oh, but I think it's very superficial, because when you get to deep things like culturally how we raise young people, you will see that in the West, they specifically changed their approach to how they interact with young people. And to be fair, I think they've taken it too far, because now, in the UK, it's like a young child can be almost as powerful as their parents.
Yeah.
But the positive aspect of that is they encourage free thinking, um, expressing your thoughts, communicating with assertiveness, and all those kinds of things. You see, and these types of qualities are necessary when we're thinking about how we develop our country.
Yeah.
But we're in a situation where we are still practicing the anyone who's older than you is whatever they say
Yeah.
is
It's
God's
fine now.
truth.
Yeah.
Yet we're actually in a society where we have progress. 10 years ago does not look like today. So
Yeah.
by default, it's not a matter of whether parents know more or young people know more. It's that both have to educate each other. Because the
Yeah.
world I grew up in, my parents don't understand it. You see, they don't. They don't understand the whole mechanisms of how everything's structured, because I grew up in it, they didn't.
Yeah.
So to think that as a parent in this modern world, you can just advise your child and whatever you say is totally right, is flawed, because most of what's going on now, you don't even understand. You see, so someone like you approaching your parents and telling them you want to go into content creation, it might seem like an abstract and
Yeah.
confusing thing to
Yeah.
them, but that's the point. We live in a totally different world. And again, on a cultural level, I really don't think how we're raising our children, even outside the educational system, is producing the type of youth that actually can be the visionaries, pioneers. It's like
Yeah.
we're holding them back, yet we're expecting growth and
Growth and
development.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think the way we raise our children, both educationally and especially from parent-children relationship, has a lot to do with where we find ourselves. But also, I feel we as African nations, having put the work in understanding where we are and why we are where we are, why even is the youth the way they are, I don't think a lot of us, even the adults, are actually critically thinking about that. So we are producing a youth based on what we were left with from our colonial masters. And the educational system is so flawed along those lines that we are not producing a proud youth,
Yeah.
a proud African youth.
Yeah.
And that ruins everything. It's like the table with wobbly legs. Nothing, it won't stand.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. The youth, especially the youth at home, do not appreciate the extent of colonialism and what is done to our mindset. So we are still educating them based on that educational structure left to us, like you both have said,
Yeah.
left to us, which was, in my opinion, to promote what the colonial master wanted of us, which is more to work and for them to be able to extract stuff from Africa,
Yeah.
for us to be the workforce. So we are not left with critical thinking of you being your own master, thinking about what can I do. So the youth, their focus is I'll finish school and then go look for a job.
Yeah.
Their focus is not like, actually, at the moment in Ghana, there are not that many jobs.
Yeah.
So right from the beginning, thinking, what can I do on my own? Where will I focus my energies
Yeah.
to be able to create something that would also help development, but actually help them, the youth? Part of it is, like you're saying, is our upbringing, is what we parents are sort of not giving the youth, what the teachers are not giving the youth. And I particularly feel critical thinking is lacking. You
Yeah.
say critical thinking gives confidence. So, like you're saying, the youth are not confident. Why are they not confident? It's mixed in with everything you've said. But the educational system is not addressing that issue at all.
Yeah.
Now, I feel both the educational system and parents are not giving children a choice. They never ask the children what they never appreciate what the child is saying. This is what I am interested in.
Yeah.
This is what I like. It's tunnel vision. You're going to study, go through to university, become a doctor, become a lawyer, become this. That's not what we need. No, we don't need it as much as we have, to be honest.
Yeah.
We need other things. And I feel even recently with what happened at that army recruitment, national securities recruitment thing, you watch it and I look at it and there are questions I ask myself. Where is the respect for the people who went looking for those jobs? I know we were talking about money, they paid money and all, but where is the respect? Because I saw them sat on the ground, not even they were just sat outside in the heat, on the ground. I mean, how does that make them feel about themselves and where they sit in society, let alone the unfortunate things that happened? Sometimes we have to think about what we are doing and what it means. How is that person supposed to feel like they can be a leader when you've put them on the ground, so many of them? Like, we need to think further. And also, what respect are we according them? If we always complain about what happened to us, but what are we doing to ourselves there? How are we empowering the youth to feel confident and feel like actually we also have answers? I have a voice. So I think what we also can discuss is the way we raise our youth, both at home and the educational system. Do those two need to change completely? But also, does it then lead to us not having enough of a talent pool to be able to develop our countries? Because the talent is focused on very few career paths. So is that an issue? Do we just need to overhaul both the educational system in terms of giving us pride in ourselves, where we are, and that critical thinking of what we can do, and the pride that we are going to do something that will actually help our countries and our economies, and we are going to develop this land. So you don't need to actually work towards, I want to finish and go and look for a job as a doctor or an accountant, but I'm going to finish and actually try to think, whatever is around me, what can I do to make a big difference? So what are your thoughts regarding that in terms of what needs changing?
I think first of all, I'll talk about when it comes to the home. I'll talk about the mentality about some of the African parents. I think they are still used to the old way and they are not seeing the opportunities for their children in the new system. So we have a lot of parents when they see that okay, their daughter or their son didn't get a job. Okay, now the next, do you know the next action? Let's look for visa for for him to
Exactly.
travel outside and go and
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
Then they'll start giving the child pressure.
Pressure.
And they have this thing in tree. They'll be like, so will be yeah, and all those things. But they don't know that wherever the child is going. I have a lady friend who was telling me how the father is pressuring her to go to Japan. And I was like, what are
Why
you going to
Japan
do in Japan?
particularly?
He said there's a connection man who has told the father that there's a job opportunity in Japan where she can go and teach
Okay.
English in
Okay.
Japan. She can go to Japan and teach English.
Okay.
First of all, I asked her that, is this something you want to do? She said, no. What am I going to do there? And I said, what do you want to do? She said, I want to enter into content creation. I love it. I want
Okay.
to create a brand for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start like working with brands. I want to create content that people will love, people will follow me for. So I'll use the internet to make money. That's what I actually want to do.
Okay.
And I said, so have you told your father about it? She said, yes. Have you told your mother? She said, yeah. What did they say? My mother said, and my friends have been seeing you on the media, and I've told them you work at a bank and
Oh,
you are disgracing me. That's the way the mother
oh goodness
Yeah, that's the
me.
thing. I also, this is what I
Yeah.
mean by, it seems like when you grow up here, um, there's three jobs you can basically do: a lawyer, doctor, accountant.
bank manager. They
Bank
even say
manager.
bank
Bank
manager.
manager.
You see,
Yeah.
so I'm like, but logically speaking, we need a diverse set of skill sets
Mm-hmm.
and expertise. So if everyone is training their children to fulfill these things, the irony as well is that they're not the main jobs a developing country needs the
No,
most.
exactly.
These are service-based jobs that facilitate the formal structuring and running of an economy. But if you're trying to develop your economy, the first thing you don't go is let's create lots of doctors, lots of lawyers,
Mm-mm.
engineers. Yes, that's actually very important. But how many, like, how many times do you really see people be encouraged into the STEM fields? I think here there is a prestige and status component associated to what you do,
Yeah.
but it's a very flawed principle because the basis of an economy is a diverse range of um skill sets, expertise, and
Yeah.
capabilities. That's the idea. Is it's me, you meant to say, okay, I can do this, you can do that. If we put it together, what can we create new?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
see,
Yeah.
so I really think parents really need to move away from this kind of like
You
rigid
have.
focus. You see, because it's even contradictory when we look at even like what our belief systems are. Because I go to prayer meetings, I go to church, and I'm always being told there's a calling on your life. There's a calling on your life. So that's me assuming you, okay, as Christians, we all have a purpose in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I see parenting should be really about what seed has God planted in my son, my daughters,
Yeah.
and let
Exactly.
me cultivate and nurture it because
Mm-hmm.
God already knows what they want them to be. But now you're trying to fit them into that box,
Yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
see.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how we are going to, the logic just doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
No.
at
Talking
all.
about the seed or the talents the child has. I know this lady to Tema International School. She comes from a rich home, a very,
Mm-hmm.
very rich home.
Mm-hmm.
And I always saw her with a camera in school.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime they are having school games or anything they have to capture, she's always
She's
capturing.
always.
So she's part of like the media team in the school and all that. So the daddy asked my daughter, what do you want to do? She said she wants to be a videographer and a photographer. The father was like, okay, wow. And the father just got her a camera.
Fantastic.
And I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
okay, your dad, this is what you want to do, and your dad believes in it and is helping you push
Push.
to
Yeah.
the top to actually be that videographer, that professional video. There are a lot of people making money from that. But
Yeah.
the traditional African parents will be like, huh?
Yeah. You
I've
just
taken
want
you
to
to school.
school.
You want to go and be photographer. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is the problem we are facing when it comes to the home. They are not allowing their children to actually do what they enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, because when I was coming up, I used to play football a lot.
Okay.
I was very good. I'm not even bragging. I was slim and I was a striker.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to play.
Yeah.
But I was staying with one of my family members, and if you go and play ball, taboo. And now
Oh,
you've come back from school instead of you to stay.
steady.
After studying, you won't watch this thing, you've gone to play
Mm.
ball. Sometimes my team, they have to come to my house to beg
Oh,
her that, oh, they have to allow me to come and play the match
yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
Now look at the money the footballers are chopping. I could have been chopping that money right now.
Yeah.
Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo, I would have been on the same level with them. Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating, but
Yeah.
who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I would have been playing for a top team, playing for Ghana Black Stars right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the football I actually loved, they made me stop it. And I can see that it's been like 10 to 15 years now. My leg hasn't touched the football.
Oh,
Do you
that's
understand?
yeah.
So this is the problem I'm saying. The African parents, some of them, they don't allow their children to enjoy what they enjoy. Just look at the child. What is he good at? One lady I interviewed, she said,
Mm-hmm.
after school, she wanted to be a hairstylist and all that. The daddy was like, no, the daddy wasn't even talking to her. But she
Yeah.
didn't give up on the dream. She proved stubborn, went ahead with it and everything. Now she has shops all over. And the money she's making in a week and in a month. Now the same daddy goes on telling the church
Yeah.
members, that's my daughter, that's my daughter. Now he's proud of the girl.
Mm-hmm.
But first, when the girl said I wanted to be a hairstylist after university, said no, 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 what kind of job is that? So they should allow the children do whatever they do. When they support them, knowing that the child wants to do this, and so it will give the child some confidence that
Yeah.
I'll make my mommy or my daddy proud.
Proud, yes.
But the
Yeah.
moment they come up with what they want to do and just brush it off, they lose their self-confidence, their self-esteem, and they feel like, okay, so if I don't become a lawyer, doctor, pilot, bank manager, I've failed in life.
Yeah.
So I think we should look at their parents too when it comes to that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like we are even saying, one of the respectable jobs that parents think their children can get into is engineering.
Yeah.
And I keep asking myself, I feel like Africa, we have so many engineers, so many.
Yeah.
I'm sure if somebody is able to put both those who have traveled abroad and still within the continent, it will be mind-boggling. What are we producing? What are we actually bringing to being?
Yeah.
What are we creating on the continent to show that we have so many engineers? Because when you walk around, you see all these imports, tables, chairs. I mean, you name it, most of it is imported.
Yeah.
So again, that's the other question. We are, even the youth that decide to go into a productive career, like something that you can actually do something, create something.
Yeah.
How are we helping them to actually bring this, like be creative, actually engineer something, do something on the continent that would say made in Ghana,
Yeah.
whether it is in, I don't know, anything that we create. I feel our educational system is too theory based.
Yeah.
It's not looking at actual, like you said, the actual practical side of
Yeah.
things is missing. Even when they go and do engineering, they don't actually put them through a practical,
It's just basic practicals. They don't really know
they
anything.
don't exactly, they don't really do real life things that will give them the expertise and the confidence that they need. So now we've talked a lot about the way the youth feels about themselves and why we think things are like that. Now, what do we think needs to change the perception that the African youth have about their future on the continent? What do we think needs to change their perception about the opportunities they have on the continent instead of traveling abroad?
Okay, I think there are a lot of things that has to change. Spoken about the giving fair opportunities to everyone, equal opportunities to everyone, no corruption when it comes to employment and all that.
Yeah.
The educational system, we have to be more practical and all that. The entrepreneurship side of things too, we have to encourage most of them to enter into entrepreneurship and all that. And also the parents or the guardians or and all those people, they also have to serve as mentors and believe in them that you can do it. And I feel like if these are the four I remember, but I feel like if these things are put in place, the youth's narrative of this whole country or the African continent will change and they will stay to make it in this country and not go outside and go and make someone's country better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also going to just add that I think diasporans as a whole need to do a better job of actually explaining the reality of what life is like abroad, because um those of us from Africa who have stayed on the continent, having traveled, should just be asking themselves, why are diasporans randomly coming back?
Coming back, yeah.
If abroad is a paradise, why are they coming back here? So I think the youth should really just do their private investigation, move away from, because I think it's just become a conventional thinking that the West is best.
Yes.
But maybe if maybe a few years ago you could make that economic argument, but let's look at where the world is going. All signs are indicating that the West itself is entered its decline. The dollar, the pound, the euro are going to devalue over the next 10 to 15 years. So the hard currency you think is valuable, the future is that's not what's happening. There's a major unemployment and even employment issues because the West is getting so advanced that it's starting to refine itself, which means that human capital is no longer as valuable. I mean, the most clear-cut example of it is the whole introduction with AI.
Okay.
You see, so if you're going there for jobs, the trajectory of the West, there is not, they're trying to reduce jobs, not increase jobs. The currency is the convertibility because of the overall general weakness. It's also not going to be worth as much as well, you see. And it's also an economy where it's like there is very high inflation there too. Wages are very stagnant, you see. So I always ask myself, what are you going there to? Because it's not what you think. That's why we are coming back, because we are realizing that actually the opportunity is really in Africa. Yet in Africa, everyone still thinks they're meant to go abroad.
They have to go.
Abroad, yeah.
So I really think that's one thing that we really need to do. I think also it's very important that we teach patriotism as like something that would, if you go and look at the Chinese educational system, like being Chinese is an identity. It's like a brand. It means something. So globally, it doesn't matter where they are all singing off the same hymn sheet. And I try to explain this, but regardless of whether you say you're this tribe, this religion, that religion, if you live in Ghana, you're governed by the city, which basically means that whether we all like it or not, collective economic cooperation is actually like an important thing because the strength of the city affects us all. You see, and if we don't create youth that are economically patriotic, so yes, I'm not even saying that people shouldn't go abroad, but other nations, when they go abroad, it's for strategic reasons. We go abroad to actually integrate, you see, but a patriotic population, people like the Chinese, if you look at what they do, wherever they go is going to advance China's interest. It's not, I'm going there to build a life and climb the ladder abroad and all that. No, because they actually are proud of being Chinese because they've been trained to love it and want to empower China. It's like their brand. So I think the patriotism part is very important because I really don't feel a sense of patriotism here at all. Like I feel like all these conversations we're having, young people are, and I wouldn't just say young people, but in general, I'm seeing a lot of people asking more, what can Africa do for them than what we can do for Africa.
Yeah.
You see, but it's very clear that the youth have to take up the responsibility for development because who else is going to? You see, and I really do think patriotism itself is something that has to, like, we need a renaissance of patriotism in general across all of Africa. Like, people loving the fact that they're African, Ghanaian, whatever.
That's very true.
Yeah. So you have leveraged on the power of technology and social media, and you've created opportunities for yourself. Now, are our youth sort of aware of being able to create opportunities for themselves? I mean, the youth of today, because of technology and social media, actually have more opportunities than the older generation. Because whatever you're doing, you can advance whatever you're doing through technology and social media. The older generation didn't have that. Now, why are our current youth not taking advantage of what is already something that makes it easy for them to create better opportunities for themselves, if you like?
Okay, so with the social media and the whole online thing, I feel some of them are doing it, and making money. Some of them are also doing it and not making anything. And some of them are consuming instead of creating. Yeah, so those who are creating and making money, so let's put them aside. There are other people who are creating and not making anything. And from what I've realized from them, they don't treat it like a business. All they know is let's pick a camera and go and shoot, post. Hey, I had 1 million views. Hey, I'm happy. But you're not generating
What
any
does it
money
mean?
from the
Yeah.
1 million views. Okay, you consistently get 1 million plus views on TikTok. Okay, TikTok doesn't pay in Ghana. Okay, fine. Why are you sitting there? Why don't you draft a proposal and take to some of these brands that this is the content I do, these are the audience, the demographics, the age group, the kind of people who watch me, and they align with your product.
Exactly. Yes.
So why don't you come and advertise with me? No, all they know is I've gotten the view, waiting for these companies to come.
To them.
Maybe some of them don't know you until you come to them.
Yes.
So they are not treating the social media like a business. Even if they are doing it, that is where the entrepreneurship side comes in.
Yeah.
They lack the knowledge.
Yeah.
So
How
you
to
see-
make it
to
work
how to make it
properly
work. So you
for
see
them.
how the whole entrepreneurship thing,
It's circular.
Yes.
yeah, and it's worrying the youth.
Yeah.
Because even if he starts social media, he doesn't know that it's a business he has started.
Yeah.
So I feel like they are doing well online, but they need the skills to run it.
Okay.
They need mentors. They need people already making it in the industry to coach them. They also need, let's say, the government and everything too. I was once telling my friend that why don't we have a content creation like place for content creators in Ghana? Let's say, the president can even build and put his name on it. Mahama Content Creation Avenue or space or something. So you come there, pay as little as this, and use the space and all that. Or you can, they have all the facilities and everything. So it tells the youth that okay, our president even believes in our content creation journey.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So I feel like this whole content creation can be made to work for the youth to make money from it. It involves a lot of stakeholders, the government, the youth themselves, and all the people interested, those consuming and everything. Treat it like a business, and I feel it's going to go far for them. So social media in the next 5 years, you can't tell me that the way it is now, it will not grow. It will really grow. And now if you look at even these corporate company, most of them have come on social media,
Of course,
creating
yes.
content like they are kids,
Yeah.
just to reach more people. So if the corporate people have even seen the benefits of social media, then why you, the youth, why are you sitting there? We are not saying every youth should become a content creator,
No.
but you can sell on social media.
Exactly.
I see a lot of people on TikTok Live, they are selling dresses, thrifts, and all that.
Yes.
How are you using the social media? Are you using it to create content, to sell, to learn? You are just there consuming and laughing.
Yes. Yeah.
How are you going to grow? Do you get it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, me personally, I think it's an extraordinary time in history to be alive. Put away what part of the world you're from. Let's just look at, again, you highlighted all the opportunities that our generation have that older generations didn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet. Like, do people realize that knowledge itself was like a scarce commodity? It was only aristocrats for thousands of years who could like get access to information. Universities were originally conceived as a place for aristocrats to send their children, those that are not going to inherit the family's wealth. So it was just for purely intellectual love of learning. When you look at how these things came about, but I feel like we're not aware of the real power of the internet, just the fact that I can learn. And again, I really think when we go back to when you were saying about what we should be teaching, how we should change the educational system, we need to teach people how to learn, not what to learn. Because we live in it's more important self-education, which is the ability to know what you need to know and seek the information and utilize it.
Yes.
You see, and the internet is like a storehouse of you can have access to lectures from Harvard.
Yeah.
If you have a phone right now, you can watch a lecture by a finance professor in Harvard. You like think about how amazing that is. So the opportunity to actually upskill yourself is right now a university degree is purely a branding thing.
Yeah.
That's all it is, let's be honest with you. But
That's
are you
true.
really telling me I needed to go to my university to learn the information I needed to learn? No, but I needed to go because it's a branding thing. Because my employer, it's a wait for him to quickly sit and go, okay, it must be credible. That's it. But if I went to him with this, I said, I know the same
All that.
information, he was not going to trust me.
Yeah.
So you're really paying for a brand recognition. But the internet, for example, it's extraordinary. But what has it also opened up? You now have access to a global market. This is what, when I talk about entrepreneurship and the opportunities youth have, is I'm not saying sell things to your friend next door or whatever. I'm saying you have access to the global market. How are you leveraging 7 billion people? You see,
I get it.
Yeah.
that is an I don't think people realize how extraordinary that is. You see.
Yeah.
And so yes, across the board, personally, I think one thing we haven't talked about is I personally believe 50% of the problem is I think the youth are just extremely lazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I'm going to come
I
back to
mean,
that.
I'm not even like, we obviously try and hire people and give opportunities all the time. And everyone I've tried to give an opportunity to, I'm just confused. Because I remember when I was coming here, I was thinking, I made an assumption. I think a lot of diasporans make the assumption that, oh, people must be hungry for opportunities because they're so limited. But actually, I think people abroad are more hungry for opportunities. You see, so I also think that's something we need to talk about. I genuinely believe most of the youth are lazy. That's just my personal opinion. Coming from trying to recruit, trying to give opportunities. Like literally, all you have to do is just follow the path laid out for you. It's really been something I've been shocked about. I mean, I may be wrong, but would you also say some of the problem is the fact that there is okay, let me not, laziness might be a strong thing, but there is an extreme passivity in the sense that people are waiting for something to happen to them
Yeah.
rather than trying to make something happen
Push
for them.
for yeah.
I
What
feel
do you-
like with the laziness thing, I feel some are serious, some are lazy, some are just some don't even want to do anything. Like they are just lazy. So I feel like if you are just lazy, then we shouldn't even talk about you. You are not even part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But those who are not really getting the jobs or who are not succeeding and they are going through a lot when it comes to getting a job and all that, I feel like they don't really, as you said, you're exposed to over 7 billion people. Everything is on the internet. I feel like they are not seeing the opportunity. That's
Exactly.
how I see them.
Okay.
They've just been programmed. Finish school and get a job. Okay, I didn't get, I'm just there. They are not thinking like,
Outside the box.
what can I watch on YouTube? What can I watch on TikTok? What can I learn? How did Apple become Apple? How did Coca-Cola become? Like, they are not researching anything.
Yeah, it's like drop shipping. Sorry to cut you off. Just a perfect example of what you're saying. A Ghanaian youth right now, if they had the knowledge, can set up a drop shipping business where you're basically coordinating shipments from China to the US to the Europe, and you're in Ghana. There's nothing stopping you doing it. You see, that's a whole e-commerce opportunity right there as well.
Yeah, but when you say what they will tell you is which money am I going
You
to
don't
use
need money for this. It's
That's
an
their
e-commerce
mentality.
business.
They
That's
feel
what
like
I'm
you need
saying.
money to start this whole
That
thing.
is the
I mean,
power of the internet.
the thing is, you see, even at a very basic level, very, very basic, I think if youth are thinking to themselves, okay, so I finished my education, I was earmarking that job, it's not happening, I'm sat at home. Okay, so what can I do? What are my interests? What can I actually create? Be it a service or be it actually a product that could actually be that unique that if I do put it on social media, I will have clients, I will have people will want to buy. Just think outside the box and actually think more about bringing something to being that you can actually make it your thing. You know, you don't have to wait for a job. And there's a lot we can do. It's like we're saying, this is a developing economy. So everything is needed. So just think about one tiny solution or a solution to one tiny problem that we have that you can, monetize. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
And then your next thing after finding that thing and finding a way to do it is you are at the best of times in all of, years gone by to be
Okay.
able to get customers. It's easy. Use the internet. So we are not saying everybody go and be a content creator, but you can actually do something that
With
you
the
can then
internet
use the internet, you know,
to sell it or
to sell
promote
it
it.
or to
Yeah.
promote it or, even to put the idea in people's minds that actually I need that thing. They might not even be thinking they need it.
Yeah.
This is the other thing. We shouldn't
Yeah.
always think on the side of what people think they need.
Mhm.
It's you trying to solve a problem. Whether they know that's a problem or not, it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
think it's a problem and you think you have an ingenious way of solving that problem.
Yeah.
So don't worry about what people think. Find a way to solve that problem. Now, your job is to make people aware that there's actually that problem
Mhm.
that they hadn't thought about. And here is the solution. Nice and easy. I've done it all. You don't need to even worry about it. And you will get, the people. So again, for me, my biggest thing is we are not actually trying to solve any problems. We're not trying to create anything. We're not trying to we just think, I finished school. Give me a job. You are in fact, you are today's leaders.
Yeah.
That's how you need to think. Youth need to be empowered to think like that. And I'm sorry, if nobody is empowering you, empower yourself.
Yeah.
Empower yourself because you are. Don't question what other people are saying. What your parents are telling you, you are living in your reality. And your reality is today. And you are the young ones. Another how many years, your parents are not going to be ruling the country, managing anything. You are.
Mhm.
So you need to empower, you need to make yourself have that confidence that, yes, maybe the educational system didn't really empower me. I'm going to empower myself. How do I do that? And what do I make? What do I create to then bring that into being?
That's
So I
true.
think we've talked about what do you call it? Whether the youth are being lazy. So I'll move on. It's a mixture of things that the youth, I think, yes, like you
No, but
said.
to be honest with you, I think really like what I want to say to especially the African youth is like you were saying, it's about self-empowerment. I don't know anywhere in the world where someone just comes and says, I'm going to empower you. So I
Mhm.
think personal responsibility should be at the front of the youth's mind that I have to empower myself.
Yeah.
Secondly, is to recognize that actually I live in a time period where what I need to empower myself is in my hand.
Yes.
Like your phone's not a toy.
Yeah.
It's
It's not
a
just
movie
for
production. It's a
yeah.
data management system
Money making
Money
machine.
machine. It's a
making
money
machine. Yeah.
making. I do my
Yeah.
whole thing on there.
Yeah.
You see, so and I think the best way to think about our time periods is I actually think the greatest opportunity for us young people is you can be in a business of being yourself. Like you can get paid for just being
Being
yourself.
yourself, yeah.
I mean, you're a perfect example of that. But
Yeah.
in general, one of the phenomena that's developed is we're in the expert economy. Your knowledge base in whatever, someone can find that valuable and will want to pay for you to advise them or guide them on that. You see, so sometimes I think we think too extravagantly, but I think the youth need to realize that actually I live in a time period now where due to all these developments, all I have to do is look within myself, ask myself, what can I bring to the table? Because the future economy is you're in the business of yourself. You see, if I mean you've done marketing and all that kind of thing, what is the big trend going on is that people don't buy from businesses anymore. They want to buy from personal brands.
That's not right.
You see, so I don't even think going forward is an option whether you have a personal brand or not. So it isn't about telling people go and become a content creator. We're saying that no, that's a tool and that's an avenue you can go down. But actually, you live in a time period where you can go into the business of being yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
And you have a global market to reach. You don't need to think about locally, think globally because the infrastructure is there to reach the entire world. You see,
Yeah.
so that's just one thing I wanted to add in terms of we keep saying there's all these opportunities, but how should they really understand it?
think. Excuse me. Yeah. So we are coming to the final bit of our discussion. I want us, we've talked a bit about it, a fair bit about it, but it is very, very important. So I still want us to focus on it, about talking about how patriotic the youth are and whether they feel they can play a role in African development. So, I mean, would you classify yourself as patriotic? And what does patriotism actually mean to you?
Okay, so I would not lie. I will not call myself patriotic. I will not lie here.
Okay.
I'm not patriotic
Uh-huh.
because of how I've been made to think about this country and what I see with my own eyes
Right.
on the media, from the politicians to even student politicians, these SRC presidents and all
Okay.
that. I think sometimes I just ask myself, what kind of country is this?
Mm.
So if you don't like something, you are not proud of it. So even if you go somewhere, or even if Ghana has done something and everybody's commenting, I, it's not that I'm faking it, but it doesn't
don't-
move me.
Oh, okay.
Because the things I see in the country is not making me love the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say I'm patriotic. I'm not. I'm trying to learn to be patriotic.
Mm.
Or
Okay.
I'm someone that you have to convince me, or I have to see something good before I love you.
Mm.
I'll not fake it that you see they have this thing called support your own. Oh, he's
Okay.
from Ghana, let's
So-
support it. But that thing the person is doing, it is not really
Yeah.
something that can push or that can reach that level
Mhm.
unless they change their strategy or something. But because he's from Ghana,
Yeah.
let's support our own. So me, I'm someone that I have to see positive things before I love that thing. So I wouldn't say I'm patriotic. I want to be patriotic if the wrong things in the country is being changed. I'll be very patriotic. Yeah.
Let me try to. So I think it's a really sad thing
Yeah.
because I think most people feel that way. And actually, me coming back home, the country it's like it's trying to make me feel that way
Yeah.
too. But I think a healthier way that us young people should look at going forward and what patriotism means is I don't focus on what Ghana looks like now. I don't focus at all on what Africa is like because me personally, I grew up most of my life in the UK and I was lucky enough that I also grew up in quite a privileged environment.
Mm.
So for me to come and I hadn't visited Ghana for a long time and me coming back and experiencing a country, in all honesty, I mean, we wrote the book about encouraging people to come, but generally I'm not still here because I actually enjoy living in Ghana. I'm here because I'm focused on where Ghana can become, what it can go. And I realized that it's not really a choice of whether I like the country or not. I'm from here. And who's going to make it nice? So for me, my mentality is I have to build the country because I don't have a choice. I'm from here. And I don't believe you will ever be successful anywhere but home.
Yeah.
So all those reasons. So I think when it comes to patriotism, what I'll say is that, yeah, don't look at what the country is, focus on what it can become, and let's work together to build that. Because yes, there's not a lot. Me, honestly, I'll be honest with you. If I wasn't Ghanaian, I wouldn't be here. I would just come, when we did the Dirty December
Just
discussion
come
thing, I'll
enjoy
just
and go.
come down, boom, gone. And I can understand why that's the case, but people need to realize the whole point of Africa is you're not meant to look at it for what it is. It's what it can be. It's the
What it can
potential
be. Okay.
because we're developing.
Okay.
The same pattern is everywhere. If you study European history, it's the same thing.
The same thing.
500 years ago, you won't want to live in Europe, you see.
Mhm.
So it's more about patriotism being like the vision we have for ourselves, and we're going to build it. But in
Okay.
general, yes, I think from early though, young people actually have to be programmed with patriotism as something that is part of like their identity.
But we live in a country where when you are trying to build it, someone to be breaking it.
Yes,
So
yes.
you build to that point, they will just wait. Then we have to start from scratch again. Charlie, it shall be
I'm
well.
not saying it. Yeah, I'm not saying it.
We'll try and make Ghana better.
Yeah,
But
small.
if it has to be better, or if it will be better, it's a
Depends on
collective
all
thing,
of,
not just
yes,
one
on all
person.
of
Yeah.
us. So from what you are saying, I would assume that we don't think most of the youth are patriotic.
Oh, most of them. They don't care about this country like that. Because they feel like the country doesn't care about them.
Mm.
So, and they are not even working to even better the country. That's why a young Ghanaian can even see, let's say, a place very dirty or something. Oh, I don't live here. Why should I? Or
I
let me
don't
pick
care.
let me let this guy pick the rubbish they left on the floor and put it on the bin. They saw someone drop something, but I don't care. Whatever they want to do. That's why even zebra crossing, drivers will sit and still pass. Because nobody cares
Oh yeah,
about
yeah, I've noticed
anybody.
that one. Sometimes
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
catches me off
They
guard.
don't stop
they
for
don't stop for
pedestrians. Yes,
pedestrians
which
to
is
pass. 'Cause
wrong.
it's like nobody cares about anybody in this country. It's like we are all trying to survive.
Yeah.
So as a country, I think if all the stakeholders in this country come together,
Mm.
everybody's a stakeholder. If we come together
Mhm.
with the right attitude, I
Mhm.
think we can build a country.
So I think where we are is where we are. So I think it is important for the youth to question themselves. I understand what they see and the reasons why they also decide from what they see and what the um, older generation, people in power, and all of that, what they see, it doesn't help them. And so they've also decided, well, the country doesn't care about us, but why should we care about the country? What I'd like them to think about is this. All that they've said, all the leaders, the previous generation, and all of that, they should remember that these people are not always going to be there.
To the
When for change to happen, we need enough of a group to decide that no, this can't go on. And unfortunately, the older ones are already where they are. So I think for the youth, they need to actually think they have more at stake when it comes to Ghana and Africa than the older ones have. So it is more incumbent upon them to individually think about what their priorities are and what they need to focus on. Nobody says don't chase your dreams. Don't chase what you want. Don't chase. We all want to make some level of money. We all want to do something. But do think within you and have a sense of responsibility and try and develop that patriotic element of yourself because the future is you.
Yeah.
And the future won't be good if you don't start being right and being good, both for Ghana and for Africa. Yes, I know it's tough for the youth. It is really, really tough. My heart goes out to them. But in the same vein, I'm saying if you give up, that's another how many generations to come that you have made you go. It's that number of generation is going to go down the drain. So it's going to continue. This cycle is going to continue because the cycle it was already there before this current older generation. And that's the problem with cycles. If nobody breaks it, it won't change. So the youth need to think along those lines and decide it doesn't matter what the leaders are doing. It doesn't matter what my parents are doing or what my parents are thinking is important. If I know that this is how I can contribute and I know that this is where I come from, it's a big deal. And so for this country to change, the youth have to change. They have to change the way they think. Be proud of who they are, be proud of the continent, and believe in themselves that they can bring about change if the youth so talk to themselves like that. They have no power now, but they can start gaining that power back by doing things for themselves, by creating things, and then using, technology and social media to enhance whatever business they bring into being, whatever they are doing. They can do that. They are lucky to be in this generation where you can do that. So that's where they can start. It doesn't mean they're going to win fighting the leaders or fighting. They won't win per se like that, but they are going to win if they redirect all that energy in making things for themselves, in making themselves useful people, and changing the dynamics of the future, so that when as the as it's tilting, you need the present older generation and leaders, as they start growing, they are getting much older and things. So if it is like this now, where the youth is here and the leadership and current older generation is there, as they start changing that belief system amongst themselves, in time it's going to be like this. And then you have a day where the new generation of youth who have become the older generation, the leaders, is at the top. That's when the change has happened.
Yeah.
It won't happen overnight. It won't take one person. It will take all of us.
All of us.
But specifically, the youth needs to understand the power they hold in their hands. If people of my generation decide to change, it still won't be that effective. There won't be enough of us. Number one, we are already entrenched in this whole thing. There won't be enough of us changing. But the youth hold that crystal ball. And if so, I will really employ them that if they don't change, the future of our descendants is,
Yeah, I just thought, you know, just building on what you were saying, I think as young people, we should look at, as you were saying, Einstein once said that if you want to change something or solve a problem, you need to use a different type of consciousness that created it in the first place. And objectively speaking, I think we can all look at Africa. Okay, let's focus on Ghana. Ever since the post Nkrumah time period, it's very clear that the pathway which the independence whole movement was meant to carry on, it really died with Nkrumah when he lost power. And ever since then, that kind of consciousness that has shaped and guided us as Ghanaians clearly is not developmentally oriented.
yeah.
So I don't think as young people, we have to be positively rebellious in the sense that we really can't take to heart too much what those who are older than us say, because clearly look at the thing. We have to think differently and ask ourselves, yeah, that doesn't make sense. You see, and I think the biggest shift in mindset we have to have compared to previous generations is, let's not look at a place like Ghana and ask ourselves what we can take from it. Because I feel like the pathway to wealth creation in a place like Ghana, especially post Nkrumah, is being, everyone recognizes, okay, this is the money here on the table. Everyone's basically fighting on how much they can take and scramble for. But actually, as young people, we should think, there's all this money there. How can we flip it? Because by investing in it, growing and develop and growing the Commonwealth, we all in general get wealthier as well. That is what development is about. But this whole thing where we see government institutions as like, how can I pillage? How can I pillage? And we carry on that tradition that our parents and their parents had done. It doesn't even make any sense if you really want to build wealth. Like, that mentality doesn't make any sense. So we must make sure that our thinking is more, how can we grow the Commonwealth, not how much of it can we take. You see, I think that's a very important thing that I think as young people we should, we should have in the back of our mind.
And I also wanted to add that young people shouldn't also lose sight of the fact that whatever you do becomes your brand. So whatever you put your hands to becomes your brand, in the sense of whatever you decide to do, that's you. That's what moves, that's what goes ahead when people get to know of you. So again, I think in the little time I've spent in Ghana and trying to work with people, I realized that our youth not just the youth, actually. I think it's across board, but our youth should be aware of this so that they can change it. People see jobs as places where they go to take from, despite being paid and all of that. And their attitude to work is actually not right.
Yeah.
But that is your branding. So I have some people that, without the shadow of a doubt, if for any reason I'm not ever working with them and somebody said, I'll say, oh yeah, that guy, you want him. And there are some people to that I will be like, I'm sorry, but I can't recommend that person. So that is your brand. And whether you find yourself in a place where the pay is good or not, that follows you. So you might be there for some time, but always know that that doesn't mean that is your life. It just means that that's where you are at that point in time, and you build on it. So you have to safeguard your branding. Don't let it be tarnished by unnecessary things, because because this is a thing that we don't realize. Little bits of things like that will make you who you want to be. It's you take something just for that moment in time, but it follows your branding. So you start moving on, and sometimes you get to a point where that actually becomes the problem that you're facing because you've done something in the past that it's not helped you. But at that point in time, you felt, oh, well, I can take this, or well, I can do that. Whether that's the thing that most people do, or like even older people do, I want our youth to understand what it means,
Okay.
because it is life. Like everything we do these days is about branding. And so try to safeguard that brand. So when your name is mentioned, people would have all the positive things to say about you quickly. And then you move on. That's how you are able to move on and do better.
Okay.
So to round everything up, I'd like to ask you also to give whatever advice you have for the youth of today as our closing.
Okay, so what I'll tell the youth is don't give up, because most of them have already given up or they want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up. First, before you point fingers at the government and all that, first look at yourself, internal analysis.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing right? What are you not doing right? How can you make your life better?
Mm-hmm.
What are your interests? So after identifying all these things, then you just get up from that bed you are sleeping on.
Mm-hmm.
Just put that thing into practice.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to learn first before you enter, you start learning on the internet. Everything is free on the internet.
Yes.
Or maybe you say you buy data, which you can buy. You always don't have money, but you always buy data. So you can't tell me you don't have money to buy data to research all these things.
Mm-hmm.
After doing your research, just get into it. Keep pushing, keep learning on the job. Learn from experts in the field and all that. Don't rely on the government. If the government wants to come in, they will come in. But right now, know that to build your life, to build a better Ghana, all depends on you. If you want to be happy in life, nobody will come and hold your hand. You have to hold your own hands.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are watching me, do this and you are going to be where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was just going to say as well, I think um from a diasporan perspective, I think we should always correlate development with youth and entrepreneurship. So if any diasporan is someone who cares about African development,
Mm-hmm.
then they must understand that the goal is to empower the youth,
Yeah.
especially through entrepreneurship, because they are the future, and that is the critical thing. We're a young population. Why this conversation is so important is because that is the strategic advantage Africa has. We're the youngest demographic region in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That comes with a lot of economic upside, but if we don't leverage on that,
Mm-hmm.
so anyone who is looking to build wealth here or contribute to development in any meaningful way, I think we must remember that that comes directly associated with how we empower the youth
Mm-hmm.
and how we actually create a culture of entrepreneurship
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. So that's it for today. Thanks very much to Godwin Edubuahene, aka Shark Boy. Yeah, what's the other one, Phil?
The fresh boy.
The fresh boy.
Yeah.
And thanks to AG as well for their insights today. And to you, our cherished viewers and listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Do share, like, and subscribe. And make sure you grab a copy of the book, The Great Return. And also, if you're thinking of doing business or investing in Ghana, do book a consultation on our website, tgrafrica.com, or simply just visit the website to see all the various things we're doing, all the good stuff we're doing, and get involved. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.